Did you really think that they were just going to go away? No, of course not. It couldn't be that simple. Hello, for all who may or may not be watching. I maybe end up talking to myself for this little hour here on Friday afternoon, but I thought I should bring back another stupid sports show for a little bit of just simple chat, Q&A for anybody who drops in and wants to watch. Had a couple things on my mind and I just wanted to get them out, as well as hopefully have some of you explain to me about any of the sports that I may have not been paying attention to. Because we're in that certain time of year where the NFL news is going to dry up and focus turns to the other leagues that have kind of been existing at the same time, but they all have those regular seasons that we just can't pay attention to. Such a shame. But I'm glad you're all here. Those of you who are watching later, I'm sorry that you missed it. I'm Jim B, and I am sorry to say that I'm not going to be doing any more USFL streams, probably, in the future. The fact that they went after Perna's channel the way that they did. And yeah, his video did get out from underneath the Content ID thumb, and you know, it's a fact of life that it's a risk that, you know, YouTubers have to take when they're using the live footage like that. But for a league that is desperate to get the word out, you know, considering how much money they've put into it and how many ads have been run by the Birmingham Tourism Council to try to get people to come visit Alabama, all the ads for kids get in free and tickets are only $10, you can stay the whole day. For a league that wants to reach as many people as possible, to not acknowledge the fact that people on YouTube, if they like your stuff, you're going to promote it. Why wouldn't you let them? And I would have thought that observing how video games handled, you know, people playing them online and essentially using someone else's intellectual property for entertainment, they would have figured out that the more eyes you get on your product, the more better chances people are going to want it. But apparently that's not up for them, not what they like. I'm a little disappointed by that. And I'll have to admit, even though the games have been good, the changing times, you know, from like 9 o'clock on Friday night, never having a consistent schedule or time, the games getting bumped one way and another in the lineups for events that were already established. Like they got bumped by a half hour for truck racing. And when you can't get your own time slot back from truck racing, might be a problem. But like I said, they're not helping with going after content creators like that, and unless there's a major change, I don't think I'll be doing any more live streams of the game. I'll still follow them on my own and hope that they finish the season strong. Maybe they get some really good ratings for that one championship game that they're going to have in Canton. But right now, yeah, I'm with you, Zach. His video game taken down really, really soured it. I mean, the whole reason I would love another football league to succeed is because I have been thinking for years now that it would take a lot of time to build another, like just like how they have for soccer in Europe. They got the Premier League, and then we got the Champions Leagues, and all the way down to the A and B, and they have, you know, promotion and relegation. It would, with how much football is loved in this country. I would think it would be a natural fit for some enterprising teams to, put together a solid, mid-tier football league. That could, if not be a minor league feeding system like what apparently the XFL wants to do, but also perhaps one day build into a system where if teams don't do well in the NFL, they get regulated down to the USFL. But that's a pipe dream, I think, for another day, another time. I also want more teams to be owned by the communities that they live in, but that's going to take a huge social shift to get anything like that rolling. Yeah. And you're right, Zach. The kicking situation in the USFL was weird. But it did make it exciting, the fact that the field goals and the extra points after were not a guaranteed thing. So it all added a little bit more risk for whatever option you went to. I enjoyed that. But the thing that has gotten really on my mind the past 10 minutes was the breaking news that I'm sure you all have heard, is that Jarvis Landry is going to the Saints. Yeah. He has signed a 1-year deal with them, and now I am intrigued about the Saints again. I mean, considering that they got Landry, they got Chris Olave, they got the Honey Badger from Kansas City. I think that they are trying to make a real effort this year to make life hell for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, and I am all for it. I don't know exactly what the Saints are going to look like, but based on the fact that they I haven't heard of anything about them chasing QBs. They must have faith in Jameis Winston. They think he's going to be okay for them. Yeah. Yes, Zach. Michael Thomas coming back will be huge for them too. The thing I do wonder about is, has Michael Thomas had a lot of injury problems? Because it seems like he had a brief shining moment and then just disappeared onto the IR. And for the the whole thing about trying to guess what a team is going to look like in the fall is exactly why we have the term, champions of the offseason. It's kind of a joke. We can theorize a lot in our heads and put together all sorts of pretty pictures about what we think a team is going to do. But, it doesn't take much to have all those plans fall apart. Like, say, for example, your pro quarterback, wrecks his ankle trying to run for the end zone. He's gone for the entire season, and you end up ceding the division title to a team that doesn't even have the winning record, and that's how the Cowboys wrecked their 2020 season, even if they had so much promise. Or the fact that Cleveland, who was picked as a dark horse for the Super Bowl last year, they ended up falling apart and watching the Bengals just cruise past them to a title. And nobody predicted the Bengals would be doing anything good. They thought, all right, they're just going to be like 9-8. And so I'm keeping my mouth shut about the Detroit Lions. Yeah, they got a lot more competitive with their games last season. Yes, they made some great acquisitions in free agency and the draft. I am psyched about DJ Chark. I get Baby Shark in my head every time I say his name, so now the words are mixed up. And between Chark and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, if he can heal and safely play in the upcoming season, that would be fantastic. But because we know anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and sometimes the chemistry comes together in amazing ways. You're welcome, Zach. Now it's in your head. Oh, by the way, before I get too far along into these things, this episode, of course, is brought to you by Legal Coffee. I'm enjoying some right now. The Mexican instant coffee that is 99.5% guaranteed to not contain crystal meth. It's feeling a little bit low energy, and yeah, I'll probably be staying up late tonight, but I don't care. I needed to be conscious and somewhat alert for this stream. Alright, now, next thing I wanted to bring up. NHL playoffs are here. I know there's not a lot of big hockey fans in general. It's one of the minor professional sports here in America. But there are some interesting things going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs so far. And Logan, you may be right to trust that 0.05%, but considering how many bug legs and other such non-edible materials actually have federally defined limits as to how much of them can appear in our food, you're probably eating a lot more strangeness than you realize. Anyway, the matchup that interests me the most in the NHL playoffs this year is the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, why Toronto? Because they are one of the current longest running also-rans in the NHL. They have not won a championship. They have not raised Lord Stanley's Cup since 1967. And while for most of their history, they've been known as a team run by a cheapskate that will never do enough to get themselves up to that next level, finally, after many years of shaking off the ghost of Harold Ballard and his tightwad ways, they put together, I'd say, a pretty intimidating team, but one that can just never finish in the playoffs. However, this year, they're saying it's different. They're saying that this is a team that has had the experience of playoff turmoil and now knows how to deal with it and confront it. And currently, they are tied 3-3 in their series with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game 7 will be tomorrow night. Now, I feel for Toronto Maple Leafs fans, and this for one very particular reason. I grew up in the DC area, and my favorite sport, even more than football, was hockey. I was a Washington Capitals fan. And if any team exemplified futility as far as the playoffs went, for pretty much my whole life, it was the Washington Capitals, and it's usually being slapped around at the hands of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But then there was that one year. That one magic year where the Capitals managed to make it back to the Stanley Cup, and in doing so, we also beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in the series. That was the real victory for a lot of us Caps fans. After that, it was all bonus, and the fact that we actually got the cup was amazing, and we never thought it would happen. It was the first in the franchise's history. And it reminds me a lot of how much Leaf fans feel snake bit when it comes to the playoffs. Two of their long time bugbears, if that's the right term for it, the Boston Bruins and New York Islanders have, let's just say, had a history of knocking them out in the playoffs in heart-rending fashion, very often in Game 7 deciding matches. They haven't won a playoff series since 2004. And if any of you know of a fellow named Steve Dangle who is on here, he's fantastic, by the way. He is just a sweet dude, has a very nice dog, and his enthusiasm, you just cannot resist it. He's been doing a show called Leafs Fan Reaction for over 15 years, I think, at this point, and he has made it very easy for me to get excited about hockey again, which I commend him for. And as much as it would be hilarious to see the Toronto Maple Leafs fail again, lose another Game 7, and just see all the fans get that 1,000-yard stare in their eyes whenever you mention the word Game 7. I truly hope, and I mean this, I truly hope that they can at least win this series. And even if they don't win the cup this year, I hope they make it there. And if they make it there, I hope they do so at the hands of the Bruins and knock them out in the conference championship, which is the only possible place that they can meet them. If the Maple Leafs can knock out the Bruins on their way to a Stanley Cup Finals appearance, I think that will do more for the team than anybody can know. I think that will take a big weight off of the shoulders of many of the players, many of the fans, certainly a lot of the Toronto media. Even Angie agrees with me. Oh, Logan says, I pissed off Cowboys fans on Twitter and it felt awesome. Alright, Cowboys fans, it never feels like it takes much to get them excited. But out of curiosity, Logan, what exactly did you say that angered these Cowboys fans? Geezer, what is this? This is just us hanging out, talking sports, whatever else comes to people's minds. I know that I certainly have not been able to keep track of everything that's going on, so if anybody's got anything that you guys want to bring up, just go for it. Do it. Hello, Jack. Welcome, glad you could make it. Yeah, it is very easy to piss off Cowboys fans. Like I said, I grew up in the DC area. I was originally a Washington fan before Dan Snyder, drove me away from the team. And yeah, the rivalry, it was fierce. Very fierce. And it was also it was very easy to piss them off. Very much. Oh. Who's a worse person, Dan Snyder or Dan Schneider? I feel like I should know off the top of my head who Dan Schneider is. Oh. Oh. Yeah. That guy. Uh, Between Dan Snyder and Dan Schneider, yeah, I'd say they're like arsenic and hemlock. They're both awful in their own distinct ways. And it feels like it would be silly to try to say which one I liked better or worse. Uh, Update from Logan on his taunting of Cowboys fans. I told them they didn't do anything in the draft. Then they told me they won 5 Super Bowls. Natural response. Then I reminded them that we are in the 21st century and that they haven't done anything since the 90s. True. Thank you for doing my job for me, Jack. I appreciate that. Uh, Now, speaking as somebody who, and you can tell this is true by the gray that is appearing in my beard, I was actually alive and paying attention to football during those years when the Cowboys won 3 straight championships, which is still impressive. It's still very impressive after all this time. I am definitely not going to begrudge the fact that Jimmy Johnson pulled a miracle and found a great way to put together a winning team that nobody had ever really thought of before. And, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Leon Lett, all the other names that I cannot remember, but I'm sure Scooter Magruder could recite them all off the top of his head. They earned their acclaim. They were a very strong team. But seeing how the Cowboys have been up and down since then, mostly a lot of struggling up and rebuilding and getting themselves renewed in different ways. First with the surprise of Tony Romo, becoming a quarterback out of a no-name school, and then with Dak Prescott. I'm not going to say that I root against the Cowboys. I don't root against them. I don't exactly cheer for them either, but I would like to see them get better as a team, but I'm afraid they won't, and I'm afraid of it for one reason only. And please tell me if I am imagining things when I say it. Does Jerry Jones have more influence on the team and personnel decisions and football decisions within the organization than he should? Like I said, I don't pay very close attention to NFL news. Only major scuttlebutt that I last heard about Jerry Jones was that whole paternity thing from that illegitimate child that he supposedly had. So, you all might know something a little bit more than I do. But I have to say that I get a bit of an Al Davis vibe off of him. As in somebody who, yes, did help steer their franchise to glory, but maybe stayed on a little bit longer than they should have. Jerry Jones, according to Kung Fu Wombat, wanted to draft Johnny Manziel, which should tell you the answer to that question. You hear that shit, Angie? Aw. I know. How dare I bring you up for amusement during a live stream? Yeah, no, she has a lot of strong opinions. Most of them are about the fact that I will not let her sit outside and figure out which of the species in my backyard I want her to wipe out. But in the meantime, she's going to try to stamp on the keyboard and make the live stream quit by accident. Well, don't worry, Foster. there will be more Kitty, I am sure, because she figured out that she can get the attention if she comes in here. The other thing that I'm worried about, and this might be a very minor thing, but it's for the Titans. I am worried about potential media hype firestorm in Tennessee sports media that will try to create a rivalry or a QB controversy between Tannehill and Malik Willis. Now, I happen to be one of those people that feel it's kind of the responsibility for veterans of the NFL to help out the younger players and get them adjusted to life of the game and dealing with traveling and all like the little bitty things that they don't mention in all the college classes or whatnot. And I hope against hope that Malik is going to take this time to just soak in everything that he can, learn as much as possible so that if, God forbid, the worst happens for Tannehill and he gets knocked out of the game, that Malik will be able to make any time that he has on the field this season very productive and carry it towards a learning experience in the NFL. Exactly, Foster. Just let T. Hill do what he wants and let Malik do what he wants. Well, yeah, and there's also no guarantee that whoever they draft to replace you is actually going to replace you. Jordan Love. But it's already it's already it's already hard enough to play a sport where, one wrong move could, break your body and take away your living. So I would think, for the players who are literally putting their bodies on the line to make a buck, that they would want to do everything to help each other out as much as they can. Very good point, Kung Fu. You want your team to be ready, make sure the backup knows what's happening. I saw it happen a couple times in the USFL games where, when the backups would come in, there would be a whole quarter of adjustment while the offensive line got used to, his calls up the line. More often the backup having to imitate the starting QB's cadence so that there wouldn't be anybody getting thrown off and committing false start penalties. So I think if Tannehill and Willis are smart, that they will coordinate on that front and do everything they can to scare the hell out of the AFC South once again. Yeah, well, Sports City in a couple of ways, but I think I guess Tennessee and that area there is kind of considered more mid-market. But don't worry, once the national media runs out of big fish to go after, I'm sure they will come to good old Nashville or Memphis, depending on what side of the state they want to piss off, and start making as many mountains out of the molehills there as they can. And yeah, Kung Fu. I knew it makes sense that you bring up Alex Smith. He mentored his replacement. It was on the 49ers, right? And the Chiefs. So he did it with Kaepernick, and then he did it with Mahomes. Is that it? Anyway. Next up on the thinking. Yeah, Cap and Pat. Basketball is here, and honestly, I think professional basketball is really only worth watching by the time the playoffs come around. You get the best out of 7 series. Usually the quality of play goes up in the playoffs, and the dramatics get even more dramatic. And oh my. Yes, Bucks in 6. Oh yeah, I forgot Knoxville. And that's probably why they wouldn't contribute to them being salty. The team that surprises me that I've seen get into the NBA playoffs this year is the Memphis Grizzlies got in, which shocked me. The Grizzlies for years have always seemed like an afterthought, even when they were in Vancouver. And now they're going up against Golden State. And the Warriors lead that series 3-2. Okay, Jack. So yeah, they're playing tonight. I think 9 o'clock Central start time I have listed on my thing. Probably because they're playing out in California. Oh, you all are thinking the Warriors are clinching the series tonight. No hope for the Grizzlies? Ah. Oh, darn, that's a shame. It was nice to see that Memphis and Minnesota actually getting into the NBA playoffs this time. I know Minnesota has been persona non grata as far as the postseason is concerned for years upon years. Yeah. I'm also shocked that apparently the Warriors are now the favorites to win the NBA championship this year. I did not know that they had gotten themselves back in shape. I thought they had lost players to free agency because it seems like everybody is ring chasing in the NBA. And our resident man of principle here in the chat, Kung Fu, was rooting for the Grizzlies because the Warriors is too vague of a name. Yeah. It doesn't have the specific charm of something like the Commanders. Oh, major being the 3 most populous metro areas. Yes, of course, Chattanooga. I remember that. Huh. Actually, sorry, I have to make a note for myself. I have to remember. Will I go through Tennessee? Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, like 20 million of the bumper stickers have said, if you stand for nothing, I'm reloading. All right, next question. Answer me this, anybody. Does anybody actually seriously pay attention to baseball anymore? The last time that I even remember, like, hardcore paying attention to any team for baseball. Hello, Hunter. Glad you could make it. was one of the years that the Chicago Cubs uh, lost over 100 games, and I was only doing it for the sake of a comedy show and was giving away prizes for every number of lost plateau each they would hit during the stadium. Oh, Hunter does. Kung Fu is no. William is a no. Be prepared to pay out the wazoo for hotels because that's how we're funding our new stadium. Which, wait, the Titans are getting a new stadium? And Foster says, nope, not really. Yeah. Hunter, what team are you favoring? Oh, the Dodgers. Dodgers are still good. Oh yeah. Well, they've essentially, bought all the talent that they can. And the Angels are good? Yeah, I thought all that the Angels had were Mike Trout and Otani, who was basically the modern Babe Ruth, a guy who can actually pitch well and hit well. Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, going to the baseball games is fun. Yeah, I haven't been in years either. I think honestly the last one I went to was a White Sox game, and they got absolutely clobbered in that one. Definitely took the edge off was the fact that we had box seats. Got them for free through work. The Diamondbacks are doing better? Really? That's really saying something considering how most of the time Arizona sports is considered to be just a wasteland. And it's nothing. That's nothing against Arizona. It just always seems like the one where the franchises either are completely incompetent or really don't try. Yeah. And it also may be attributed to the fact that my lack of baseball interest, that is, was growing up an Orioles fan. And the fact that I was already long gone from the DC area by the time the Washington Nationals came about, so I kind of didn't get on the bandwagon for them because wasn't around to get involved. Oh, welcome back, geezer. Yeah, Hunter hasn't been here for a while. How you been doing, man? Oh yeah, high school do that. And getting a, it's getting to be about finals exam time for all of you high school people, isn't it? So can expect you all to be out whooping it up late at night and playing with your hula hoops and fax machines out in the street. And Geezer says, I think it's better to be an Orioles fan than a Tigers fan. So don't go to Detroit, Jim. I'm warning you. Yeah. Oh, the poor Tigers. Poor Tigers. That one distant and more distant everyday World Series appearance is feeling like a dream. I do feel bad for them. I am, though, Geezer, planning to go to Detroit for the 2024 NFL Draft. By hook or by crook, I will find a way there. Just because at this point, I might as well. It seems like it's going to be the perfect opportunity to attend a draft, hang out with Lions fans, and possibly cause havoc in the Motor City. Oh God, yeah, the Reds are falling apart. Let's see, the Lions, the Tigers, and their third major sports franchise, the Red Wings. Actually, I think it's the Red Wings. Comerica Park circa 2004 against the Red Sox. Beautiful summer night. Comerica Park. Oh God, I've already forgotten what team that is. I apologize, Mike Sparks, but I think I might have diluted my coffee with a little too much spice. Foster say, just be prepared to be body to body anywhere you go. I think I can. I think I can. I am a veteran of many a music festival, and more often than not, people trying to sell me weed because they assumed that I was smoking all of it back then. My eyes were kind of the same stoner shape that they are now, but without the benefit of actually being stoned. It was sad. And Geezer, congratulations on making it to 7th grade, man, and just keep crushing it the way you know how, okay? I should have known, Tigers. See, even though I've pumped the coffee in, I'm not awake. And 2004 was the right year for it, Mark, because that was the year that the Red Sox finally broke the curse and won the World Series. So I can imagine that. Just to know that you were a part of that was, it has to be a nice memory. Oh. Yeah, everything does get harder from here, but also and some things will get easier. Yeah. Oh, God damn it. This is why I'm only doing the show for an hour, because I did not know how awake or coherent I was going to be today, and I see I am already flailing like a non-swimmer in the ocean. Yeah, that was Bush, Geezer. Oh yeah, we just vibing here. Let's see if there's anything else that I had thought about and prepared for. Oh yeah, that does remind me because of course Bucks in 6. Oh my God, their series against the Celtics is still going. Oh jeez, and that game is tonight at 6:30. Well, this is going to be a packed. Oh, Glycerine, the one song that by Bush that was decent to play on an acoustic guitar. If only because of the fact that it has the Don't Stop Believing chords behind it of the 4-chord song. Zach, I am planning to do some hockey. I was actually thinking of doing the Leafs Lightning game tomorrow night. Because like I said, I am excited for what could be either the breaking of a curse or, more pain for the Leafs fans. Either way, should be fun to watch. Oh yeah, Rangers Penguins are playing tonight as well. Yeah, Case Cookus marks the last day of USFL streams, and honestly, it kind of feels like we went out on top with Case Cookus. I wish him luck. I hope that the extra time that he'll get out on the field will get him noticed and get him more opportunities to play and maybe even a decent backup gig somewhere in the NFL. But will the USFL try to sue a 12-year-old who has no experience in court? I want to say no. I really do. But then again, I do live in this country, and I for some reason just I don't trust our court system to do something that would be rational these days. We'll find out tomorrow on Judge Judy. That's gonna hurt. That is going to hurt. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Zach. Absolutely, you can. So maybe you all can tell me, because I don't know how the Rangers and Penguins have been doing. Foster, do the Penguins have a realistic shot at actually advancing in the playoffs? Because they seem like they've been on decline the past couple of years. And are the Rangers legit? Because they seem like they've been kind of struggling to get back into relevance lately. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if they do, Geezer, then yeah. We will have no problem. We will have no problem leaving them behind. So 3-2 Penguins lead, and it has been a back and forth series. Ooh. Yeah, the USFL has more fumbles than the NFL last season. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it, Geezer. It really is. And Sidney Crosby is out for tonight's game. Oh, that ain't gonna help. Yeah, it was allowed back up, but the fact that they did content ID it and block the entire video instead of just claiming a share of the profits, like the NFL does. All right. Well, let's hope. Well, for the Penguins' sake, I hope that other players will be able to make up for Sidney Crosby's absence. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that they will find some way to pull some bullshit out, because they are the Penguins, and that's what they've done the entire time that I've known them in my lifetime. I think I might do some of the NBA playoffs, but I am interested in the NHL postseason. So we might do some NHL, we might do some NBA, and we'll see what else. We'll see what else comes up that we could stream and have some fun with. I actually really enjoyed doing this today. I knew I wanted to stream, but I was kind of like, I want to actually have some time to talk with people, just have some back and forth, let my mind wander. Yeah, Foster, I imagine you're rooting for the Rangers too. And Honestly, I think I'll go Rangers as well. Yeah, let's go Rangers. How do you even... Okay, Geezer, this thing... This thing does not make any friggin' sense. Because I will tell y'all right now, just sprinkling those spices over Cheetos is not how edibles work. Like, you actually have to, it actually has to get cooked in to the food in order to work. That you can't just dip hot Cheetos into a grinder and all of a sudden, ooh, I'm eating weed. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sidney Crosby compared himself to military servicemen? Oh, okay. Huh. Now there are janitors, Geezer. It's just I don't think they've been born yet, and they don't know what they've been signed up for. Hmm. Oh yeah, Kung Fu continues to not know anything about spices, and don't ask me either. I know absolutely nothing. Yeah, don't worry, Geezer. We figured it out. It's cool. Yeah, people do weird stuff. Um, yeah, Florida. Geezer? You saw a lion running on a man's lawn in Florida? Is Florida where that Joe Exotic guy is? Did you nearly end up in a true crime podcast, Geezer? Ooh. Oh, honestly, I think my favorite Florida man headline, and this is an old one. Oklahoma's where Joe Exotic is from. All right. My favorite Florida man highline of all time is naked man tells cops he loves cocaine, needs more cocaine. You can imagine where the story went from there. And even then, you would be wrong about how crazy it got. Yeah, Joe Exotic running for president. Oh, well, any fool could be president. I'm sure, honestly, Angie the cat could be president. Isn't that right, Angie? All right, Angie, you have a willing public here. Give us your platform. I'm convinced. Vote in Angie 2022. Hell, she doesn't. Well, Angie doesn't have to pay for the cat food, so I don't think she gives a shit about the prices increasing. Yeah, she's got a ride on Easy Street. So anything that has to do with finances, she don't care. I'll tell your cat Marvin that I said hello and that he's doing very well. All right, you know what? I think I am out. I am out of conversation for today, unless you guys got any last things you want to bring up in the closing minutes before 5 o'clock. Is money a made-up human concept? I don't know. Is it? Is it? Oh, Hunter's got some trivia. What are Angie? Two teams that threw a no-hitter this season. Well, hopefully I'll find that out later at 6:30. Angie's believing that all her food should be free, absolutely. But I enjoyed this. It was very nice hanging out with all of you. Let's do the same time next week. What do you say? Just have an easy get-together. Talk about whatever sports nonsense comes up. We'll have some low pressure. Just inform everybody about, whatever they might have missed. You might even talk about some cars going vroom next week, because they're going vroom very fast and in ways we might not imagine. Take care, guys. Good night, Milwaukee, wherever you are.